that's not right. Mhm. Indeed, indeed we are wicked. Indeed we are. Indeed we are. Okay. Okay, so this is here. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the greatest watch market update show. Today we have a very nice watch market update show for you guys lined up. Today I'm alone and I will be doing this all by myself. I want to talk about a watch market update. I want to talk about a few topics, but let's just dive into the gold market. Ladies and gentlemen, I know I've been telling you guys for some time that if you do want to invest some of your money, if you do want to invest some of your money, I wouldn't be looking at investing money in watches, but I would be looking at investing money in gold. And I've been telling you that for the last, since 2023, I've been telling you that. But most of you have ignored me on that. And when I started telling you the price of gold was at $1,923. That's right, $1,923. Ladies and gentlemen, as of today, April the 18th, 2025, the price of gold, the ounce price, is at $3,341. That's right. And the price of the gram of gold is $107.74. And the price of a kilo is $107,000 for a kilo of gold. Gold is going nuts, ladies and gentlemen. You know, and I told you that I believe, and I've been telling you also that I believe that the price of gold will hit. I believe, me personally, I believe that it will hit $5,000. That's just me. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your moment. I've been telling you to look into gold. Gold is skyrocketing, and it's going to places that we have never seen. And so, be in the lookout. Be in the lookout, to doing a little purchasing of gold because it's looking like it's gonna hit, someday. I don't know when, but someday the $5,000 mark. Ladies and gentlemen, I have I have like 6 pieces of gold Rolex watches. You know, I have a Submariner fully white gold. I have a GMT rose gold. I have a Daytona uh, yellow gold. I have a couple of dates, yellow gold, one in 36, one in 41. And I don't know if you guys know this, but the in a kilo of gold, in a kilo of pure gold, there's 1,000 grams. You know, 1,000 grams, and I have over 1,000 grams in these gold watches. And I'm thinking if it hits $5,000, an ounce, I will take off all the movements on all those watches, and I will scrap all that gold. That's right. Because right now it's $107,000 for a kilo. So, I don't know, but if it hits 5,000, all those watches will become scrap. I will melt those little froggers. I will melt them all. And so, I'm just letting you know what's happening. In a kilo, you have troy ounces, 32.151. To all of you that want to know about that. In a kilo, there, troy ounces, 32.151. You do whatever you want. But I'm going to tell you, right now, watches, the watch market is dead. So, just to let you know. All right, guys, I want to let you know about gold, a little bit about gold. Ladies and gentlemen, changing the conversation, we have a Florida man. We have a Florida man here in Miami, Florida. In Miami, Florida. Unbelievable. What a flim flammer, What a flim flammer. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we had that show over there in Geneva a couple of weeks ago, and they introduced the new Rolex Daytona yellow gold with the turquoise, turquoise, blue dial, like the Tiffany blue dial, Oyster Flex yellow gold with the turquoise blue dial, And the watch has a price tag of $36,700, right? And a Florida man that has a shop. You're not going to believe this, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to believe this. But this Florida man in Miami has a watch shop. And he says that he is going to be the only one to have this watch in the next 10 days, And he's taking anybody that wants to be the first to have this beautiful Rolex Daytona yellow gold with the turquoise, Turkish, I don't know that color, blue dial, is going to be the first to have it. And ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe, because these people still think that you guys are still window lickers. And they don't understand that most of the people that watch this organic watch channel are recovering tomato cans. I repeat, most of the people that watch this channel are recovering tomato cans. And this gentleman that has this watch store, you're not going to believe this, ladies and gentlemen. Listen and learn. He's asking for that watch, brand new, brand new. Unbelievable. These people are unbelievable. They're the cockroaches, They're the lowest, the scum, the scum of the earth. They're asking $190,000 for that watch. That's right. You heard that correct. They are asking for that watch $190,000. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. And let me tell you, a window licker will fall. A window licker will fall. A crumb bum will fall. I promise you that. A tomato can will fall. A crayon eater will fall and pay the $190,000 or somewhere there. These people are unbelievable. It's pretty disgusting to see the numbers that they are asking for that watch. Pretty disgusting. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, I try my best to give you the information that no one will dare to give you. And the reason that I give you all this information, you guys should know already why I give you this information, is because I'm stupid like that. That's why. Because I'm stupid just like that. I give you that information. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to change the conversation to a subject that I talked to you about this subject. Like for 2 years, I have talked to you about this subject. You know, China is an unbelievable superpower. China, the country of China is unbelievable. They're unbelievable. These people, there's no country with so much discipline, at least that's my personal opinion, like the Chinese people. Discipline, you know? These people are unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you a couple of years ago that a lot of the Swiss made watches, all those parts that say Swiss made, you know, they come from China. That's right. I've told you that always. I've even told you that certain parts, all parts, from luxury watchmakers like, you know, the ones you guys love and I love, Patek Philippe, they come from China. You know, China, you know, if you have a Patek Philippe, let's say Nautilus, and you look at those watches, they're tomato can bracelets, you know? They're tomato can bracelets, whether you guys want to believe it or not, they're tomato can bracelets. Patek Philippe watches, believe me, a lot of these parts come from that side, you know, from China. Those people are unbelievable. They can do whatever they want. The Chinese people are so good in those factories that these people have done a movement which is called the ETA movement. ETA, E-T-A. Listen and learn. You're going to learn here for free. I don't charge you for this. You know, not like the rest of those hucksters and hoodwinks that, you know, they just flim-flam you and fleece you and you love it. Me, I'm giving you knowledge for free. The Chinese people are unbelievable, but I'm going to continue with a different thing here about China. The Chinese people are very, very annoyed right now what's happening with the tariff Cold War. That's right. We are in a Cold War right now. The United States and China. And China was very, very annoyed. And China said, I don't know what's wrong with these people with the tariffs, you know, this and that. You know, Hermes bags, Hermes. Hermes is probably, no, it is the most expensive bag there is. You know, Hermes. My wife loves lady bags. You know, she loves them. I don't know, you know, she loves and she knows about all this stuff. And the Chinese people are so annoyed, they're throwing under the bus a few of these most popular ladies' handbags under the bus. They're throwing them. All these leather goods, you know, hardware, you know, like from Hermes, the hardware, the lock, you know, the leather, the nylon, all that stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, a person has said already, all these pieces come from China and we send them over there, you know, to France, you know, wherever they have their factory line, you know. And what they do over there, they assembled a handbag. They assembled the handbag of Hermes. China says, if you want one of our handbags of Hermes, you come here, we give it to you for $1,000. All the parts of ours. What they do is, over there in France or wherever they have their factory, they just assembled and stamp it Hermes. But all those parts vienen de la China, papá. They come from China. They come from China. And you know who else too and what they said? They said, you know, that Dior, you know the Dior handbags? They also come from China, right? And they said, you come over here, we'll give you a Hermes for $1,000 instead of paying $38,000. You know, $50,000. You pay us $1,000, we give it to you. You know, without no label, but we give it to you. Without no label. Listen and learn. You know, the label. We'll give it to you. because all those parts come from from China. You understand me? And then they said, if you want a Dior ladies bag, come over here. We'll give it to you for $100. The China people are very, very angry, and they're starting to throw people under the bus. The cat is out of the hat. The cat is out of the hat, ladies and gentlemen. I've been telling you that Patek Philippe brings in a little spring, a little screw, a little pin from China. I've been telling you. That's right. The Chinese people can produce an ETA movement. You know, ETA, the movement ETA. I have taken watches to watchmakers, and they have looked at it and they go, this is an ETA movement. An ETA movement. You know, the Rolex uses ETA movement, ETA movement. And the only way they say that they can tell if it's genuine or not, they have to disassemble, take out everything, the whole watch out, and look in the back of the movement to see where is it from. These people are unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. These people from China are unbelievable, and they are going to start throwing people under the bus. We know that movement, that quartz movement from Cartier, so viene de la China, papi, that comes from China. Listen and learn. Listen and learn. It comes from China, papa. The quartz movement that those, I don't know, those watches that have quartz movement of Cartier, they come from La China. Bugatti, they come from La China, from China. You understand me? They come from, I know you guys don't want to listen to this because you guys say, oh my God, how can you be saying that the Patek Philippe has a spring that comes from China? It comes from China, papi. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. In your household, in your house where you live at, your apartment, wherever it is, I can promise you, okay, my house, I can promise you that I will say, I'm going to be kind and say 70% of everything I have in my house comes from China. Papa, everything comes from China. Everything comes from China. These people are disciplined. They can do whatever they want. They can do a Ferrari if they want. They can do a Lambo if they want. They can do a Bugatti if they want. These people are unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. La situación está jodida. And China is going to throw every single one under the bus. Patek, Rolex, AP, Richard Mille, they better grease up those people over there in China so they don't throw people under the bus. Papi, all those pieces come from China, whether you guys want to believe it or not. They assemble them over there in Geneva, over there, Swiss, they assemble them. But all those parts, papa, they come from China. Those people son brillantes, papi, no sean lambones. Ustedes son un bonche de lambones. Ustedes son lambones. You think that these people for real have the capacity to do a little, tiny little screw? You think so? Do you think so? But come on, papa. You got to give this to the Chinese people. The Chinese people, brillante, brilliant, man. Brilliant. But they're going to throw everybody under the bus because everybody brings parts, whatever they're producing, from China. A little lock, China. A little screw, China. Those people are unbelievable. Those people, I'm telling you, they can produce whatever they want. These people have like 5 different levels of cloning things. Cloning. 5 different levels. And number 5 is the best. It's one-on-one. One-on-one, papi, is scary, man. One-on-one. You don't believe me? You Google it. You Google it so you can see it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, those people in China, they are unbelievable. And what's going around now in social media and all those, Instagram, Facebook, what they're talking about, it'll leave like your mouth. They're throwing Hermes under the bus. $38,000, $50,000 they charge for Berkeley, Buckley. I don't know the name. My wife knows those names. She's unbelievable. She knows all those names of those handbags. I'm telling you, they are incredible what they're saying. You come over here, we give you the same handbag without the label. It's like saying I'll give you a Picasso painting without the signature. You understand me? La situación está jodida, muchachos. We're living in dark times. Esto está parejo, same level at everybody. You keep on giving me the logo, I'll keep on squealing. I'll keep squealing. I'm telling you, you tell them. Listen and learn, ladies and gentlemen. La situación está jodida. I'm telling you. You want a Dior handbag? We'll give it to you without no label. Here it is. No label. This is the exact thing they use in Hermes, the same thing they use in Gucci, Prada, Dior, no label. Here it is. We supply all the material. They assembled it over there. Papi, the ¿cómo se llama eso? ¿Cómo se llama eso? La escoba. You know what the witch uses when she flies? How do you say that? The witch, she flies in the thing, and the sweep, whatever you call it. Your sweeper from your house, that comes from China. I promise you that comes from China. I promise you. Everything comes from China, papi. La situación está jodida. So these two superpowers are going to have to enter in some way in an agreement. Because it's crazy. You know what China's going to do? Okay, you're charging me a 245% tariff. No problem. I'm going to send now. I'm going to reroute all my goods to Vietnam. And then from Vietnam, they go out. I bet you didn't know that. You know who told me that? He's not here today. Sweet Kino told me that. China said, okay, no problem. Charge me a 245% tariff. I'll just send all my goods through Vietnam. These Chinese people are disciplined, Bobby. Disciplina. You know what disciplina is? If you don't know what it is, you Google it. I'm telling you. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been too long skip hopping around through life like a rabbit. You've been skip hopping around through life like a rabbit. Where do you think those Ray-Ban sunglasses come from? Ray-Ban, I'm saying Ray-Ban so you can understand me. I'm talking about, I can say any sunglass. They come from China, Baba. They come from China. All that, the two legs, they come from China. The frame, everything. What makes you think parts of watches don't come from China? You guys gotta be misogynous to don't think that, that they come over there and, over there, come on, they're gonna assemble that over there. Those movements, they're assembled over there. The spring, the screw, the rotor, bah. They send the whole thing here, assemble them over there. Now they became Swiss. But all the parts come from China, those bracelets, those tomato can bracelets. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot continue, dropping knowledge to you people to wake up the masses. I have woken up too many people. En la industria del relojes, I have woken up too many people. And what do we get in return? You know what we get in return, but we don't care. Because we're stupid like that. As long as you guys are awake and you pass this, let's say right now we have 20 people looking at this live podcast. But you 20 people are going to say this message to your friend, and your friend will tell his friend, his friend, his friend. It'll spread out, It'll spread out like a breakout, Unbelievable. And that's what we get. Exactly, we get that. But we don't care because we're stupid just like that, papi. It keeps on going. 20 people look at this live stream, but 20 people are going to spread the news. Coño, man, I can't believe we heard from Opusntime that, a little spring comes from China. That the Hermes bags, they're not really, from France. So they come from, the pieces, the leather goods. Ooh, the cow, the leather goods, they come from China. Come on, come on. We don't have the la capacidad, the labor. We don't have it. We don't have it. So I'm telling you, the Chinese people are pretty upset, and they're going to be rerouting all their goods, listen and learn, through Vietnam. Esa gente son la tranca. And also you got that guy in the White House too that, he's not easy either, So we have two superpowers going at it. And I'm going to be honest, the guy in the White House, the new guy in the White House, he wants China to throw everybody under the bus. You don't know that, right? The guy in the White House is going like that. Let them all know. Let them know that Hermes bag is really coming from China and assembled over there. Let them know that Patek Philippe sardine can bracelet comes from China but assembled over there in their factory. I'm telling you like it is, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you. I know you guys don't want to hear that, but I got to tell you the truth. And nothing but the truth. So help me God. Unbelievable, but true, ladies and gentlemen. La situación está jodida. Dark times are coming. And the guy, I'm telling you, the guy within the White House, it's not gonna be easy. He wants the world to know the truth. He wants the world to know the truth. Because you guys, you recovering tomato cans have been hopping around through life like rabbits for too long. Unto Sweet Kid Kino did this channel, we have awakened too many recovering tomato cans. Anyway, guys, enough of that from China. I want to give you a watch market update. This is what you guys are here for. I'm going to give you a watch market update that's going to knock your socks off and blow your hair back. Right? La situación está jodida. Things are bad, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to keep on telling you the watch market is dead because it's disgusting already. It's beyond dead. But ladies and gentlemen, our first watch is a Rolex stainless steel GMT oyster bracelet, 40mm Bruce Wayne, with the black and gray ceramic bezel. And when it came out of the gates, this watch fetched the price of $35,000. The Kentucky Derby gate, $35,000. $35,000. Reference number 126710GRNR. Retail price $10,800. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to have to tell you the truth, and you do whatever you want. It's your money, and you do whatever you want with your money. We are just here to give you what we believe you should pay for that watch. Like what they say. They put a price, but that's the price they put. That doesn't mean it's sold for that price. So this is my price, They put their price, and I put my price. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that Rolex stainless steel GMT Bruce Wayne oyster bracelet, 40mm. Don't pay for that watch more than $15,500. And you do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. If you want to continue being silly, that's up to you. If you want to continue giving away your children's tuition money, book fare money, you understand me? Your 401k, that's up to you. We don't care. That's up to you. That's up to you, ladies and gentlemen. That's up to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I've talked about this watch a couple of weeks ago. And I've been seeing the way it has been behaving. We're talking about a Patek Philippe, you know, Patek Philippe, you know, the one that famous luxury high-end watchmaker that brings parts from China. Unbelievable. The 5990 stainless steel, you know, the new release with the beautiful blue dial, stainless steel chrono, you know, unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen, unbelievable. This watch has a retail price of $69,640. Listen and learn so you don't get taken. Listen and learn. And this watch a couple of months ago was at $140,000 in the super grade watch market, you know? Unbelievable. But things are bad, ladies and gentlemen. La cosa está jodida. You know, $69,640 is the retail price plus your Uncle Sam's taxes. And ladies and gentlemen, I've been watching it closely. And I'm going to have to tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. Don't pay for that Patek stainless steel 5990 with a sunburst blue dial. You know, not the gray dial, the sunburst blue dial. Don't pay more, and you do whatever you want, but don't pay more than $114,000 and letting you know what's going on. You need to know the truth, ladies and gentlemen. You need to know the truth. You need to know the truth, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I cannot let you continue skip hopping around through life like rabbits. I can't. I know you guys are all recovering tomato cans. You gave away too much of your 401k. You know, if it was 401k, now it's 21k. You know, you gave it all away. You do whatever you want. It's your money. Good to hear. Good to hear that, RS. Good to hear. I'm so happy to hear that, RS. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about a Rolex Date Platinum. I mean, if you don't have to, stay away from platinum. Stay away from platinum. Rolex Date Platinum 40 millimeter blue diamond dial, baguette, fluted bezel. Reference number 228236. Retail price on this watch is $69,000. And this watch went all the way up, You know, in that Corona era, it went all the way up. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All the way up, ladies. Disgusting. I don't even want to tell you the number, but disgusting. And then this watch right now, ladies and gentlemen, you do yourself a favor. You know, we're going to help you save money. If you really want this watch, we're going to tell you what you should pay for this watch. And don't pay more than what we're going to tell you. If you pay more, you become a window licker. Don't pay for that watch more than $69,000 and dumping. I'm telling you what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you. Don't get scared. Don't get scared. Don't get scared. This is serious stuff. You do whatever you want. Our next watch is a Patek Philippe stainless steel 5711 white dial. Unbelievable. White dial. Not blue, not green, white. 5711. This watch in the Corona era, it was all the way up. You know, all the way up, nasty all the way up, you know? White dial, 5711, with a 330 movement. You guys don't know too much about that. I don't want to get into that because los mareros, you know? 330 movement. China parts. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Retail price is $34,700. And it went all the way up, ladies and gentlemen, to $200,000 in the Corona era. And I'm going to have to tell you the truth. 330 movement, 330 movement, that's a special movement. That's what those flim-flammers say over there in Geneva. Those hoodwinks, hucksters. They keep on giving you this. But I'm here to tell you the truth. Don't pay for that watch that went all the way up. Disgusting price. Don't pay more than $76,000 and you do whatever you want. You do whatever you want with your money. It's your money and you do whatever you want. You know? You do whatever you want with it. You know, it's like my wife does whatever she wants with my money. She buys handbags. What can I do? I can't do nothing about it, you know? She likes handbags. I'm telling you, or you should pay for that Patek Philippe 5711 stainless steel with a white dial with a 330 movement. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an Automas Pit Royal Oak stainless steel 15500. 15500. Black dial. 41 millimeter. Unbelievable time machine, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. With a retail price of $27,800 plus your Uncle Sam's taxes. Unbelievable watch, ladies and gentlemen. That AP is unbelievable. I mean, one of the most beautiful bracelets, craftsmanship that comes, that they produce. And I don't know, you know, they also, you know, the bracelet comes from over there, from that country too, but unbelievable. The best. Best. Beautiful bracelet. 15,500. Black dial. Retail price 27,800. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Ustedes quieren seguir siendo lambones. Eso es un problema. Sean lambones. You know what lambones is? You don't know what lambones is? You Google it, because I'm not going to tell you. But I am going to tell you, don't pay for that 15,500 AP Royal Oak Black Dial. Don't pay more. I mean, you do whatever you want. But don't pay more than $28,000 in. Esto se jodió. Papi, esto se jodió. Esto se jodió. I'm telling you. You know what jodió is? Do you know what jodió is? You don't know what it is? You got to ask some of my organic subscribers. They'll tell you what that is. They're smart people. And they listen and they learn. You cannot continue being misogynist, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot continue being misogynist. I told you about gold 2 years ago, $19.23 an ounce. Today, 3,300 and just round it off, and 50 an ounce. You do whatever you want. You know, Kino has a big fat Cuban chain, and Kino's about to sell it. And Kino, when he did that chain, he paid for that chain like around $28,000. I don't want to tell you how many grams that thing has. It's a monster. It's a monster. I'm just letting you know. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an Automas Pit Royal Oak. Fully black ceramic. You know? Perpetual calendar. Unbelievable. 41 millimeter. This is a sickening watch, ladies and gentlemen. Sickening. You know, like you guys like to call it a grail. You know? I don't know what you use. Grail. Oh, this watch is a grail. Okay, I'm going to use your word. A grail. Fully black ceramic. Reference number 26579CE with a retail price, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Retail price is $111,900. And this watch went all the way up. I'm serious. It went all the way up. 400 big ones. 4 lemons. 4 watermelons. You know? 4 watermelons. That watch. In that Corona era, you know? Pushing the button from the car. Bing, 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 bing. Bing, 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 bing. Unbelievable. Just giving money away. And what do me and Sweet Kino get? We get the short end of the stick. Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to soar with the eagles or you want to crawl with the rats? Because you're crawling with the rats. I'm telling you. Ladies and gentlemen, the AP Royal Oak Black Ceramic. perpetual calendar, unbelievable, 41 millimeter. Retail price 111,900. Ladies and gentlemen, this is disgusting. This is disgusting, and it's still dropping, ladies and gentlemen. This thing is still dropping. It is still dropping. Don't pay for that watch. And I mean, don't pay for that watch. Don't pay for it more than $166,000. And dummy! 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 A little more patience. Dummy! And if you're going to buy it, buy in the summer. Buy it in the summer. You buy it in the summer. Listen and learn. Ladies and gentlemen, we have here another Patek Philippe 5990. Patek Philippe 5990. This is a big dog. You had to be gutsy to buy this watch. Hay que tener pelotas. Hay que ser lambón, de verdad, lambón. Hay que ser lambón. This is the Patek Philippe Rose Gold 5990, the travel time, you know, chrono. Unbelievable, this watch with a beautiful blue jean dial. Unbelievable. This watch went all the way up to $600,000 in that Corona era. You know, they were inside the Ferrari Enzo, pushing the button, the wire. You know? Unbelievable. And the Enzo, the Ferrari Enzo, the Italia. Unbelievable. 458 Italia. You know? Lambo, the Bull. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, this watch is a monster watch. I am going to say what you guys say. This is a grail. You know, this Patek 5990 rose gold with a blue jean dial travel time chrono. Retail price of this watch. Retail price is $122,670 plus your taxes. And it was all the way up there, ladies and gentlemen. It's been like this, you know, it flat lines and it goes back up, you know, and straight down and like that, you know, all that stuff. Unbelievable. But to that person that sent me an email requesting me a watch market update on the Patek Philippe Rose Gold 5990, I'm going to give it to you now. Don't pay, because I know you want it. You told me you want to buy this watch, but you wanted to hear my price. Don't pay for that watch. And it's gone up and down, up and down. Up is up right now. Don't pay more. I mean, you do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Sir, you do whatever you want. It's your money, and you do whatever you want with your money. But right now, don't pay. If you want to pay, pay in the summer. But right now, if you're going to buy it from that, you know, dealer you told me about, don't pay more than $214,000 and dumping! I'm telling you what's going on. You do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, a new watch here, another new watch. But it's your favorite word, discontinue, collector's dream, collector's gray, collector's choice. Discontinue. It's a Patek Philippe Complications. The sun gray, you know, the sun gun gray, the sun gun gray. Unbelievable. 5205, gold. Discontinued, like I'm telling you. 40 millimeter. Retail price is $59,390, ladies and gentlemen. It's an annual calendar moon phase. Unbelievable watch. You know, the retail price, you heard it, $59,390. This is a discontinued watch. You know, I'm telling you, this is, you know, the gun gray, you know, gun gray. I don't know. People put these names, you know, gun gray. And I'm going to have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, nothing but the truth. You do yourself a favor and don't pay for that watch. You ready for this? Listen and learn. Full set. Listen and learn. Don't pay more, and I mean don't pay more than $26,000 and $26,000. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, some years ago, we had a basketball player that came to the Heat Miami team, and a watch dealer from Miami, I think it was that gentleman, Jose Feliciano. He sold this watch to the basketball player. An AP Royal Oak, fully black ceramic, 41 millimeter, double balance wheel open work, and he shows when he takes the watch to the basketball player's house, and he charged him for that watch, in that Corona era. That Corona era destroyed a lot of families. Not people, families. The basketball player paid for that watch, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't believe me, look for the video from Jose Feliciano. Paid $400,000 for the watch. Unbelievable. I think the basketball player is not even playing no more. I think he's playing now, pickup basketball in one of those basketball courts. Unbelievable. There he is. Somebody said it already. See, people know who I am. I say the truth, nothing but the truth, Poppy, in this channel. We don't frog around here. We don't frog around here. We say it like it is. $400,000. It's filmed. Filmed. Basketball player, like 7 feet, 8 inches. It's unbelievable, that basketball player. Think after he finished here, he went to play somewhere in China, in Turkey, I don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, this watch, the retail price is $101,000. 101,000. 101,100 to be precise. And you sold the watch to that basketball player, poor basketball player, man. Pobrecito. The guy is, I don't even want to tell you what he's doing today, but I heard he's looking for the guy, Jose Feliciano, with the nippleitis. Nippleitis. You know what nippleitis? You know what nippleitis is? You don't know what it is, you Google it. And ladies and gentlemen, this watch a few months ago was holding at $240,000. And I'm going to tell you today, you do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch. Maybe it's the basketball players, because it's bouncing around all over the place. Literally bouncing around, Don't pay more than $210,000. And no more for you. You do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex white gold Daytona, blue dial, Captain America. Captain America. Rolex white gold Daytona, blue dial, Captain America. The Captain America guy. With the red and blue gauges, white, the gauges. Hour, minutes, seconds, you know what I'm trying to say, right? Unbelievable. Reference number 116509. Retail price is $41,600. We're talking about a full set here, ladies and gentlemen. If it ain't full set, you don't want it. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want. Retail price is $41,600. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want with your cash. Cash is king. I've been telling you that cash is king. You control the conversation con el billete. Con el billete, con el dólar. Con los chelos, con los cuartos, con la plata, con la lana. Understand me? You understand me? No sean gilipollas y no sean lambones. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that Captain America Rolex Daytona white gold. Don't pay more. You ready, ladies and gentlemen? Don't get scared. It's going to get worse than this. It's going to get worse. Watches are going to go to an all-time low. Don't pay for that Captain America Daytona more than $35,000. And you do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be my last watch for today on the watch market update. And it's going to be an FP Jordan. Unbelievable, this FP Jordan. You know, rose gold. Believable. FP Jordan, rose gold. AR2. Ladies and gentlemen, with the discontinued dial. Believable. Unbelievable. Octa. You know Octa? OCTA. Octa. Unbelievable machine. I say one of the arte, you know, Picasso, Van Gogh. You understand me? Monet. Beautiful, this watch. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, with the discontinued dial, you know, your favorite word, collector's dream, collector's choice, collector's grade, discontinue. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want with your money. You do whatever you want with your money. But don't pay for that watch, for that FP Jordan, rose gold, fully rose gold, casing and bracelet. You know, it has like a bush hammer finish. You know, unbelievable. Situación esta jodida. Don't pay for that watch. I'm not even going to give you the retail for what. I'm just going to tell you, don't pay for that watch. Don't pay for it more than $94,000. And esto está jodido, papi. This is bad, right? Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's your watch market update on this beautiful day. You know, on this beautiful, beautiful day. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like our videos. You know, I should have said this at the beginning. I always forget. I didn't have Sweet Kate Kino to remind me to say it from the beginning. But I got to tell you, lady, thank you. Thank you so much. I got to tell you, thank you very much, RS. Thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like our videos. You know, by you liking the video, it just gives me more power to continue so you guys won't get fleeced and flim-flam by all these hoodwinks and hucksters out there who are preying on your children's tuition money and are preying on your 401k. We also have a private watch group on Facebook. It's under my name, Juan Felipe Nieves. Go scroll down to About. You'll find there Opusntime Watches, and maybe Samantha or Sweet Kid Kino let you in. Like me and Sweet Kid Kino will say every week to all of you, take care and brush your hair. Peace to all of you.